one goes to war without leaving a piece of themselves back wherever it was they went. I was surprised by my daughter's decision to go into the military. My oldest daughter, Rachel, went in first. And Charity and Michelle followed. And Michelle followed largely because she saw the difference it made in her sisters as far as the way they were, their confidence level, et cetera, what being a soldier did for them. But I also think she caught kind of the, they talk about the service. We often don't really connect the word service and the definition service with, hey, they're serving, and she wanted to serve. And she saw how her sisters were serving, and she wanted to serve too.
What was it like for you as a dad to have 3 girls in Baghdad at the same time?
So at the time, I started to have real problems with pain, different parts of my abdomen. When I went to the doctor and I said, I got this, I don't feel quite right. He says, are you under any stress? and I laughed. And then I explained, and he talked about how obviously, the stress was not helping my digestive tract and things like that. But it was a full year of just being on high alert. And every time the phone rang, we were like, because they could only get to the phone at certain times. And a lot of times when they got to the phone, it was a satellite connection, and it was very choppy. And so you needed to get there, and you needed to listen hard. And we got used to getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning if the phone rang, because we knew this might be the only time we heard from them for another week or two. So it was very stressful. Yeah, very stressful. Because when all 3 of them went to Iraq, see, the local media was kind of following the story because it was very much human interest, right? 3 kids all serving together. And they had followed it literally for months. And so it was not unusual for a guest to get a call saying, hey, how are the kids doing? And, let's do the update on the story and whatever. When they came home on leave at Christmas time, and all 3 of them were together, the local TV stations all wanted to come and talk to us, and they all did. So then in April, on a Friday night, Good Friday, the doorbell rang. And I was on the phone, and Lori answered. And I just will never forget her voice coming from the living room. And I just didn't compute, but she was saying, no, 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 like she was ordering somebody away from the door. And so I ran into the room and saw the notification team at the door. And now it's like, what's the next question? It's who? Whose name are they going to tell me? Right? And they want to do their notification thing, and they've got this preamble that they want to give you, and all I want to know is, what name are you going to say? And so they told us that Michelle had been killed in an ambush. She had been part of a convoy going to reinforce police stations in Baghdad. It was night shift. It was midnight. They had just left for what they call midnight chow. There were 6 Humvees together. Then they split off and went different directions, and as soon as they split off, what one of her teammates described as the most intense ambush they had experienced in the year that they had been there just unloaded on them. There was snipers in the 3rd floor windows. The IEDs went off. One of the vehicles was crippled, and in that all that turmoil, Michelle was in the gunner seat, and she was going to return fire and was killed. So the rest of the convoy was struggling to get out of harm's way. One of the vehicles had been crippled. They were actually forcing it, pushing it with the second vehicle to try to clear the ambush zone. And when they got out of this area, that's when they realized that she'd been hit. And they called for attention, medical attention, but it was too late. That was one of the things we hoped people would understand, that war had kind of changed, that we were fighting with, weekend warriors, people who were, I mean, that's not a term that's minimizing at all. It's just that this is someone who may have a business on this, who now is being called away for 7, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months to serve. And it probably, they knew it could have happened, but it was if you've got mom at home with the kids and now she's trying to run the family business while dad is overseas, or vice versa. Mom was the primary breadwinner as maybe a doctor or nurse, and now dad's at home trying to take care of the kids while she's deployed for 12 months, some of them longer than that. So we hope that people would begin to understand more about what military families in general went through, the hardships that they endured. Shortly after Michelle was killed, somebody in Congress got the idea that, all women should be pulled out of hostile fire zones. And, it was ridiculous because that would have just shut down the operation. It's not like there was just 1 or 2 scattered here. I mean, they were involved. They were doing important jobs. And I guess that was kind of going without a lot of notice. And so the book kind of speaks to the changing role of women in the military. And not because I'm an expert, it's just I was observing as a father what was happening.